Enchantment books, some of the most powerful items in all of Minecraft. These books can make the regular player nearly unkillable, but on this server, these books are even more valuable than usual. This is the Upgrade SMP, where every time you kill a player, you gain an enchantment, making enchant books very powerful. Players are willing to kill, betray, rob, all to gain the power from these books. And this is what happened to me when a player named Sweater asked to team. Not having any teammates made me think this was a good option. And I bet you guessed how that went. This death made me very upset, because I didn't have any teammates to back me up on the server, and the player who killed me had far more gear than I did. So I decided to make it my mission to kill Sweater and regain my lost enchant, no matter the cost. So I came up with a 3-step plan to gain my revenge. First, get max gear so I can survive any fight. Secondly, design and build a trap, and finally, use the trap to kill Sweater and regain my enchant. But considering the server is ending, I am running out of time. My first step is to build a secret base to get powerful gear. And with 2 villagers now at bedrock level, it was time to begin my base. With the base done, I now need to trade for armor. Normally this would take a long time, but I have a strategy that involves buying bookshelves and reselling the books to gain infinite emeralds. And finally, after 2 days of grinding, I have enough gear to fight any players. It is time for step 2, the trap build. Since I'm not the greatest PvPer, a trap will guarantee that I get the kill. But I need something that won't fail, and something with so much power, it isn't possible to escape. What could that be? It's TNT minecarts. Not very exciting, but they are incredibly powerful. So I spend the remainder of the week coming up with a trap design that could actually work and kill Sweater. And with 6 days remaining until the server ends, it was time to build the trap. Actually, first I need to get all the resources for it, which includes iron, minecart, sand, quartz, gunpowder, rails. Okay, I have some work to do first. My first step was to build a gunpowder farm so I could have infinite explosives for the trap. And while I'm building this, let me tell you about this trap design. It uses observers to detect when a block is broken so that it can go off instantly. However, with the gunpowder farm finally complete, it was time to collect the final resources for the trap. But with only 5 days remaining, I was running out of time. So I headed back to my base to collect the remaining resources. But as I drew closer to the base, something seemed off. And my suspicions were only confirmed when I entered my base. It had been totally griefed. There was nothing left. And in that moment, I didn't know what to do. With only 5 days remaining, I just considered giving up. I mean, how was I going to have enough time to finish? Besides, I didn't really want to waste my final time on the server building a trap, but I realized I really didn't need another base. I just had to collect the remaining resources and I could build a trap. So I decided to continue onwards. Before I finish this trap, I would just like to ask if you could subscribe. You will most likely never see my channel again unless you subscribe right now, and I'm trying to reach 1K by the end of the year. Anyways, back to the trap. With my new gunpowder farm, I was able to get all the gunpowder needed for TNT. The next step was the sand, which was also pretty easy because my gunpowder farm is in the middle of a desert. And now, with all the resources for the TNT acquired, I needed iron. A lot of iron, and I didn't have any. So that's what I got next. There was now only a few items left. I needed quartz for observers, which I quickly collected in the nether, and then just a little bit of redstone. As I collected the final resources, I couldn't help but thinking on the journey I had been through. The 1 week that I had spent on this was now coming to an end. With all the resources collected to build the trap, I headed to spawn. However, there was only 4 days remaining until the server would shut down forever. So, with limited time, I quickly set up the trap at spawn, and now All I had to do was wait for Sweater to log on. And considering the server was coming to an end, he most certainly would, right? But as the final days began counting down, and I finally reached the final day, Sweater still had not logged on. I didn't know what to do. Doubts began running through my head. What if the trap fails? What if I die again? What if Sweater just doesn't log on at all? And as the thoughts flowed through my head, I realized what I was doing. I had spent the last 2 weeks focused on revenge. The very thing I had wanted to avoid from the start was what I was now doing. This whole plot of revenge had left me secluded from the rest of the server. I hadn't made friends, and while everyone was enjoying the final moments, I was stuck on revenge. I had wasted so much time on revenge and instead had created nothing. And as my remaining time counted down, I made my decision. I could still use my trap, even if I didn't get to use it on Sweater. So I walked through the portal knowing what was already on the other side. I had done it. I had actually used the trap to kill someone. But this wasn't the outcome I wanted. Was this all really worth it? Was all this wasted time worth it? Spending my life trying to get revenge? And as I sat there at Swan with nothing to my name, I realized revenge had been my downfall. And as I sat there in my final moments, I realized I needed to do something of impact to the server. So I wrote a book with a simple message to the server and left it in a chest, not knowing if anyone would ever read it and if it would ever be seen again. But I had to do something. And as I watched the rain fall for the last time, I logged off the server for good.